This is the MR2 SW20, the mid-engine rear-wheel drive, one of Japan's most beloved sports cars. And why? That's because it was such an understated car, but yet was a great rival to the Honda NSX, the Mazda RX-7, and many other Japanese car manufacturers, and the MR2 completely killed it. And despite its snap oversteer, it was still a great handling car, even on the twisties, and made a great driving experience. And when I was just 17 years old, I had this white MR2 that me and my dad actually built together, and we actually won the Best on Stand and the Toyota Owners Club at a Japanese car show. And unfortunately, we got to a stage where this car did rust away, but we had many MR2s across the years, and we just kept going back and back and back to them, and I just can't help but love these cars. As you can see, I had many MR2s. And the MR2 is a beautiful looking Japanese icon, as I'm sure you will agree. But that's not the only reason we love it. It holds a huge place in my heart especially. And my dad was very proud of winning the trophy, as you can see. But the car did rust away. Last year we also lost my dad, after unfortunately losing his battle to cancer. So this MR2 isn't just being built to face Alex for a hill climb. This is being built for Dad under his legacy. This is a white MR2, but this one's going to have a slight different twist on it. So follow our journey building this car, not just on a budget. We are actually building this to face Auto Alex on the hill climb, but we did actually have a major problem with this car, as I'm sure a lot of you may know if you have watched a previous video.
You got no way to do it!
So the first thing I did was actually buy a turbo engine for this track build, but unfortunately this one had actually spun a bearing and destroyed the crank and the block as well. So that put a downer to the project straight away. But the first thing we did was actually went to a food and fuel event, which we went in Jason's Focus ST. While having a great day at the food and fuel event, we actually met up with Auto Alex and shared a beer with him, and was discussing the MR2 that I was going to originally get it done for next year. But then Alex had his own ideas and actually pushed me in the right direction, and then actually said, let's do the hill climb in September. And this is no ordinary hill climb. This is actually one of the oldest motorsports events in the world, and it is actually the oldest to have been staged continuously on its original course, first having been run in 1905, so that makes it 120 years this year. And yes, this brings you where we are today, with a smashed up, stripped out front end collision MR2 and our track build MR2 there in the background, with an engine partially built and a broken engine. And if you'd like to know how we got this far, please check out our other videos. And for now, let's get on with this video. But now is a good time to subscribe, because you can follow this build and then you can follow when we go up the hill. But for now, let's crack on with this video. Hey guys, and welcome back to the budget track build MR2, and today we are getting straight into it, and we're actually getting the gearbox off so we can investigate the clutch, because the last thing we want is for that to slip when we are up against Auto Alex. Not only that, we are getting it built and put back in the car. So at the moment, literally just taking off the manifold, cleaning up a lot of the engine, but super happy with the rest of this block. As you can see, these are the coils that I'm going to put on top. They're actually from a Yaris or Celica, Corolla, whatever. These are very common coils. They're the 1ZZFE coils as well. So yeah, very common to put. So going to get a whole loom conversion on these, and I will get my friend Dean to help wire up these to the original loom. So as you can see, looking around the engine, we've still got the standard turbo fitted on for now. Still unsure what turbo that I'm going to get. It's just the standard CT26. And I've noticed that this has actually got a CT20B turbo, and these are from the Rev 3 onwards. Well, I believe it is a CT20B anyway, because normally it would say CT26 turbo after the Toyota, but this just says Toyota, so this normally is the CT20B. and the intake of the turbo looks like the CT20B as well. So chances are they've actually put a Rev 3 turbo on, a Rev 2, as well as obviously other little bits and pieces as well. So far we've got a good turbo, so this is likely to stay. Now, what's the difference between this turbo and the CT26? This apparently holds more boost, especially after 6,000 RPM. It goes right the way through to the red line. So for now, with that in mind, I'm just going to clean up all of this loom and everything. I'm going to take the manifold off, get Martin to do that, and get all this clean. So let's crack on with that. And if you haven't seen in the last video, this has been powder coated a wrinkle black. And we've also had the cam cover done, which is red with the black Toyota right in there. And now we can actually start getting this engine back together and in the car. We've pulled out the throttle cable here, which we're going to need for the conversion for that one. Again, loads of stuff going on. And we've actually just pulled out the clutch pedal from this one, as we're going to use that on that one. And I will show you the differences right now. And as this is a how-to channel as well, I'm going to explain to you what the differences are between the turbo and the non-turbo. And you can already see here is some lovely springs, which are both sides, and this nice support sort of retainer bracket here, and that means that when I'm pushing the clutch up and down, that would obviously give resistance there, whereas this one just doesn't. It's just floppy flop flop. Whereas that one is obviously very, very tough to push back and forth, so it obviously releases and returns back to the desired driver position once the clutch is engaged into gear, if that makes sense. Whereas this one, it does work, but it's just a bit slower. It will go with the pressure from the clutch slave cylinder, whereas this one is assisted by the springs as well. So I just thought I'd start draining the fuel out of the fuel tank to see if this has got an uprated pump, and I want to take the fuel tank out anyway, because I will sell that. I literally feel like I'm fumes. Literally had a full tank of fuel. However, there is one good thing with some of the MR2s, and I will show you. As you can see, it literally has a drain plug on the tank, so that actually worked out perfect. So definitely good shout on that. So now we have just taken the fuel tank out, and as you can see, the coolant pipes run underneath, and there is some on the top that run to the heater matrix. We got the fuel tank out, the other one as well. This one was a stock one, whereas the other one actually had a Walbro fitted. And we've just had the exhaust arrive as well, the HKS Silent High Power. And in other news, our nice HKS Silent High Power exhaust has come, and yes, you can see it's a nice big chunky exhaust, and it sounds like it's going to be really loud, but where these baffles are obviously quite big, it's actually quite quiet, hence why it's called a Silent High Power. Now, the reason I got this one is so we can actually go on the track days in the future and not have any sound issues, where a lot of these MR2s can have exhaust which sound absolutely ridiculous, and then you've got to have a bung in the exhaust, and again, that just looks stupid. Again, like the previous exhaust on Donald the Donor, it had two bungs in the exhaust, which didn't look that great. So we want a nice massive can, proper Jap style can, and I've had one before, as I'm going to insert a clip of my yellow one now. So yes, that is the HKS Silent High Power exhaust arrived. Looking forward to getting that fitted. I think it could even be my old one, I'm not sure. The person I bought it from rings a bell from where I sold my old one from years and years ago, so potentially could be. And as you can hear, I am struggling to catch my breath, and that's because hay fever this time of year is a complete joke. However, look at the powder coated parts we have here that Martin at MJG Grit's done for us. I am so happy with that. Thank you to Tony and Ryan as well. Those boys are absolute legends, and I cannot wait to get these parts fitted. They look so good, and look at that subframe. That is going to look so good underneath the car. And we have also had some heat shields done and the fuel pipes as well. Look how good all these bits look. I'm so excited to get these fitted, as well as all of the roll cage and everything else. Huge thank you once again. Let's get these fitted. And with that roll cage removed, I can now go around with the grinder, just smoothing down that sound deadening for ready for the interior to go a satin black. Some of you might not agree with this, but it just hides a lot of the imperfections, because remember guys, this is not a show pony, this is a track car. Now we've done that, we're going straight to the roof, and I'm just going around here. You can see by all the sparks that I'm just quickly going over the roof. That wasn't done perfect, but it does not matter as long as it looks reasonably good and it's a nice place to be. So I'm not sure what happened to the audio here, but basically we've sanded it all down and we're just smoothing it out now, ready so we can put some primer on to go the satin black that we actually desire. But we do have to also put some bucket seats in here, so we will have to fabricate some seat rails to put the bucket seats in, but we still need to purchase those as well. But the first step is to at least get this primed and painted satin black. I've just smoothed along the back wall there as well because it was a little bit rough and ready. It's not going to be perfect, but again guys, as I've mentioned a million times, this is not a show car. As you can see, again, quickly gone around a few bits. Literally done a little bit of the roof and a little bit on the back there. I have quickly touched up some black, only very quickly in that area there, because someone's cut like a hero on that bit, and I probably could mess around, smooth that out, but the actual roll cage, the rear bar goes right the way across that anyway, so you're probably not really going to see that. But the whole thing, next time you see this, will be satin black. So now we're just getting underneath the car by the boot area, and as you can see, someone's actually cut the rear grille off here, and we're just cleaning up a lot of the rust and the rust pockets here. And as you can see, we've actually got a hole. Lucky enough, we can get that sorted.
So yeah, now you join me, and yes, I do have a weird paper COVID style mask on. Got my drill, also got a grinder with an attachment. Literally just cleaning up a lot of this rust and stuff, all in the pockets, as you can see. And yeah, just clean it up. I'm going to quickly spray underneath, sort out these edges because someone's cut this rear grille off while I'm talking with this. I don't know, just thought you could relate that you don't want to breathe in all of this dust. It's not very nice, it smells, so actually protecting my lungs for once. So yeah, just cleaning that up. Just showed you some of the rust on that other pocket. Martin's going to weld that pocket up, so that's all good. Then the bumper can go back on. We're going to spray this all just black, put the heat shields back on, and then get that lump back in there. As you can see from the top inside the boot, that's where these rust from quite regularly. You can see down there that doesn't look too healthy either, although I have put quite a lot of pressure on that and that's not going through, whereas that one is completely rotten.
So guys, a little bit frustrated, I'm not going to lie. We're waiting for loads of parts for this engine. We're waiting for the downpipe, which is one of the main things, and we're waiting for a few other niggly little things like seals and stuff that still have not turned up, even though we paid next day delivery. The company has apparently lost one, and then the other one that is stuck in transit. So I know what that's like. It can be a pain in the arse relying on couriers these days. We're also waiting on the CV boots as well for the drive shafts. We've got this one that's knackered, and so is that one on the other side. We can put the fuel tank in, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. You don't need to see me doing that. That just literally goes up in the middle of the tunnel. But what we have got is our sandwich plate, which is obviously for the oil temp and oil pressure gauge. Little Torx one there. Nothing fancy. I think it's about £40. And then we've got a genuine oil filter as well that somehow did turn up next day. Of all the things that are not that urgent, they've come. But anyway. And we've got the turbo engine lid. We've actually taken off the shroud from this because we don't need that, because all that does is block the rain from going on certain parts of the engine. This is never really going to see the rain unless it rains the day when we do on a track day, but it's not going to be the end of the world. So we've taken it off. This is going to be painted by Martin. We're going to go black on this. Also waiting for some paint so I can paint the gearbox. I do need to just quickly go over that with the wire brush, etc. But still waiting for paint on that. Waiting for paint to paint the hubs as well. So yeah, a little bit frustrating. And we're still waiting for paint for the interior, despite me saying next time you see this will be satin black. It's not, because we're waiting for our paint. We're also waiting for our caliper paint as well. And yeah, so we're waiting on loads of paint. Some of you might say, why don't you just go to the, you know, local paint shop, Factors, Motor Factors, whatever. We bought it in bulk online because we needed a lot of black stuff and satin black, and we also bought it all in one with all of the red, etc., and the silver for the gearbox. We just thought we'd buy it all in one, and we thought it'd be easier that way. Apparently not. But never mind all of that. Let's just crack on in what we can actually get together.
And while putting the fuel tank in, you can see that pipe there just on the right hand side. That's been weeping, where they always crack, where that joint is just there. They crack and then weep underneath. So we're going to have to replace that pipe as well. Loads and loads of little fixes that we need to do. The clutch is all in and torqued up. That was in really good condition, so super happy with that. All these pipes are pretty much in place now. Apart from this, we need to put some new hoses on. We're waiting for some new hoses to come for that, but that's not a problem. That's going to be a sort of thing we can do last minute, because what I'm trying to do is get everything that's awkward when it's in the car now, so it's not too much of a problem. So that's the idea of that. But other than that, this engine is looking very, very good. This is just a temporary heat shield. I was playing around just to see what I could sit there. Obviously the heat will still come through there. And these pipes are also temporary, where we're going to do the boot mount intercooler. And have obviously a U shape there, which is going to go into the boot, and obviously that will go that side as well. We've got a plaque coming for that. It's going to be a nice little special little plaque there as well. Looking forward to that. And then obviously we've got to stick the coils in. But other than that, the engine is all good to go. And regarding the rust on the white one, we're literally just going to cut out the whole piece here on both sides, so we can do those rear pockets as well. Again, I'm not going to record that in the video, so I'm sure you don't need to see me cutting out. We're going to get Martin to weld those in, so that's another thing done, and that is why we've kept this shell. So unfortunately, guys, the engine is not going in this car on this video, and I'm very disappointed, and I'm sure you are. And I do apologise. These things do happen on builds, unfortunately, and this is real life. This is not just the standard YouTube channel, because I am doing this little project or big project on the side as well as a business. So I'm just filming this as I go. This is real life. We're waiting on stuff, unfortunately, but this does happen on builds. But I'm still super enthusiastic, because once we've got everything that we're waiting for, it is literally just a case of bolting it all on and getting it in the car, and that is making me super excited. And just doing this whole process is I am really enjoying this. So if you guys haven't yet started on your project cars, or you haven't got one, or just go out in your car, go and see your mates. Since losing my dad, I had really lost my love for cars, and I thought that was it, I was done. But going to this last food and fuel event has really opened my eyes and made me realise it actually brings family and your friends together, building their cars, helping them get their dream together, and just hanging out with your mates, having a laugh, and that is so important. And going to the show with your friends, and that is what life is all about, is having a good time, and cars really do bring that together. Even places where cars can take you, meeting up with your mates, having a beer, meeting some new people, and cars taking you to some beautiful places even while you're on holiday, and that I cannot fault. And building this MR2 is not just about being competitive and winning, because in my eyes I've already won. This whole process of bringing mates back together, having a laugh with all your friends, and literally helping each other out, seeing each other, having a meet for a coffee, or whatever it is, you know, just taking your mind off of everything, letting your hair down for a bit, even chilling out with your dog, and that is what cars are all about.